My name is Haley Howes, and today I'll be presenting my informative speech on the right to education, or educational equality. Now, to start this off, I want to start with a little story. When I was in high school, I did a presentation on Malala Yousafzai, an educational rights activist who fought for equal rights for children and students alike. After presenting that presentation, it really made me think about how lucky we are as a society to have such easy access to education and such easy access to supplies necessary to be educated, where many people around the world in different parts of the country don't have as easy access as we do, or just don't have the privileges that we do. Today I will talk about education and an organization that continues to fight for educational equality, a person who played the role in fighting for educational rights and continues to this day, and how education has affected the world as a whole, really. By explaining these topics to you today, I hope to inform people that education is an important tool since it's still being fought on a daily basis by organizations and individuals. Speaking of organizations, over the years there have been many organizations founded on the idea of increasing educational equality and education access across the county and across the world, really. Such organizations include Education for All. Education for All, or EFA, according to the article Education for All, is an international initiative first launched in 1990 in order to bring the benefits of education to every citizen in every society. So to sum it up, really, Education for All is an organization that strives to increase access to education to supplies such as textbooks, even supplies like highlighters. And because of this is how they are trying to fund in order to increase access to education materials in order to increase the literary skills of people around the world. Those organizations strive to provide education to achieve a 50% improvement in adult literacy by 2015. Now, even though it's 2020, their efforts still continue to this day as to increase the literacy level of people around the world in order to increase the amount of people being educated. The main focus of this organization really is to provide education. No matter the age, gender, race, or income, everyone in the eyes of this organization deserves an education. Now, even though I chose to talk about this one organization with you today, there are many other organizations around the world fighting over the same principles. Many people unite to fight for educational equality all around the world. Some people even do it in their own communities, such as Malala Yousafzai. Now, it's hard to see in this photo, but Malala is right here. She's a Pakistani girl from a small town in Pakistan. So, how many of you have heard of Malala? And if you haven't, that's all right. She's not super well known in memory. However, she is known to be one of the most important young fighters for education. According to the article, Malala, Everyone's Daughter in the Fight for Girls' Education, Malala is described as the Pakistani girl shot by the Taliban for demanding that she and her other girls go to school. So, it's really cool, actually. She was only 15 when she started advocating. When the Taliban took control of Pakistan and part of Malala's hometown, they put out an order where women were not allowed to be educated, and as a result would become housewives. In other words, taking care of kids, doing cleaning, cooking, stuff like that. And meantime, while women were doing that, the men were in charge of bringing home the bacon, really, working, and getting an education. According to the article, Introduction, Facing Malala Yousafzai, Facing Ourselves, on Malala's way home from school, a Taliban entered her school bus and shot her, specifically in the head, leading to her being hospitalized. But you may be wondering, why did they shoot her? Well, prior to being shot, she was actually doing advocating at age 15 on her blog, posting and talking about how children all around the world and children in her own society, specifically the women, should be given education as equally as men are in their society as well. After her hospitalization, she would eventually continue on going to different committees and talking about how every child deserves equal rights to education. And eventually, by 2014, she would be given the Nobel Peace Prize for her efforts in advocating when she was only 15. Eventually, she would publish a book titled He Named Me Malala, where she expresses her experience and continues on to advocate, to this day really, as one of the youngest educational activist fighters. Malala became part of the revolution to access of educational equality for all, a long fight that's been continuing on to this day. However, since we are given such easy access to education, we don't fully realize how important it is and how it really has affected society in a whole. So, as a student myself, we experience easy access to education on a daily basis, that we don't truly understand how lucky we are to have such easy access to education materials such as textbooks, like even in our class for communications. Anyway, in many different parts of the world, there's a lot of situations that happen, like in Malala's situation, where she is barred from education, or in general, there's a lack of supplies. This is what's helpful with education. As we are growing into mature adults and growing into what we are going to become, we have such easy access to daily basis to education that we can become literally anything. So imagine there was a girl named Sophia. Sophia wanted to become a doctor. She could easily do that, getting her diploma, her bachelor's, her master's, her graduate, her PhD, and her doctorate, eventually becoming a doctor. And because how education has affected how society's role plays, it has increased the amount of literacy in people and has increased the amount of knowledge gained from different levels of science, such as biology, chemistry, and many others. And because of this, people even take their knowledge that they learn to help others, such as the organizations that are created. Education is one of the most important skills that anyone can possess. On a daily basis, we get easy access to education, while people are unable to obtain it or restricted from it, like Malala. Overall, hopefully I was able to teach you about the privilege that we are given on education, and that knowledge and education should be shared with all, because everyone deserves the right to be educated. Thank you.